Lee's going to talk to us tomorrow about the Fanny and the Chickamauga races and what compelling little things there. A lot of people talk about the Chickamauga races, about how it was the most disjointed military operation that occurred during the Civil War. Well, I want to tell you about the most disjointed political operation that occurred during the Civil War. This marker is right down here at the East Carolina Bank. Thanks to Drew and Mel and a bunch of us, we've got tons of markers around town. But let me just read this to you. I know you can read. It always bugs me when people read stuff off of PowerPoint, but I'm going to do it anyway. America's first attempt at Civil War reunification, orchestrated by Union Colonel Rush C. Hawkins. The Hatteras Convention was held nearby on November 18, 1861. We had two of the most consummate carpetbaggers you can imagine come straight down here out of New York City. One guy's name, he was Marble Nash Taylor, the Right Reverend Marble Nash Taylor. He saw the opportunity here to be able to come down here and make his way into society. We know that when Fort Hatteras was captured, it ran full page on the New York Times. We've got a copy of that down here in the museum. We're going to be dedicating that here a little bit later. But he picked up on this. And this Reverend Taylor, today his name would probably be Al Sharpton, and you know, you see it all coming out of there. But he was hanging around with these guys like Peter Cooper, who all the intellectual and intelligentsia there around New York City. Peter Cooper was the engineer who designed the steam locomotive in 1830 called Tom Thumb or something like that, and all these big bankers and everything. And here was his opportunity down here. And they held a convention here this is the simple explanation for it. They were going to make this the Union capital of the South. And that idea went straight to President Lincoln. He actually gave a couple of these guys an audience. We've got a foothold on Southern soil. The Constitution says that there will be a capital. So it can't be Raleigh, that's a secessionist capital. So let's set up a new capital down here. We'll have it at Hatteras. And it actually took off. They had this, the Hatteras Convention here, November 18th, 1861. Allen's other grandfather, A.J. Stowe, was the secretary of that convention. We've got it in writing. Now, folks, a lot of people started taking the oath of allegiance here. We really weren't that Confederate. I mean, yes, we were part of North Carolina. We did, by our votes, get North Carolina out of the Union. But, I mean, it was brought us a little bit of prosperity. But with these guys running around here, you better take that oath of allegiance, or somebody's going to make an example out of you. So almost everybody on the island, almost everybody voted 10 days after this on November 28, 1861, and elected this other carpetbagger out of Maine, Charles Henry Foster, and declared him our congressman. And things really took off. It was amazing. But finally, Congress realized that this was a kind of a deceptive practice, that this Marble Nash Taylor was a flake, and that Charles Henry Foster was also a flake. And it all ended with this guy, Edward Stanley, was finally appointed military government, and that ended all of this stuff here. And Yancey Foster, she died quite a few years ago, but I was told this story back when I was in high school, and Yancey called him the consummate Yankee, and she was such a sweet. She said it with a smile. She's just